General Electric is one of the most iconic names in American industrial history. Born from the legacy of Thomas Edison and expanded through over a century of innovation, GE has operated across fields as diverse as aviation, healthcare, power generation, and finance. Innovation was always expected on its products. But at a certain point, the way GE managed innovation itself had to change. Facing new market dynamics, shorter product cycles, faster competition, and more informed customers, GE began to question whether the traditional stage-gate approach to product development was still the best fit. To respond, General Electric partnered with Eric Ries, the creator of the Lean Startup methodology. The goal was to adapt the principles that helped small tech startups succeed, speed, iteration, users' feedback, to a large industrial organization. The result of this collaboration was FastWorks, a new approach to projects and to product management. It redefined how General Electric developed new products, starting from customer needs and focused on speed and learning. FastWorks was not just a tool, it marked a cultural shift. To understand how FastWorks works in practice, the story of GE Appliances offers a perfect lens. In 2008, GE invested $1 billion to revamp this business unit. They hired 3,000 people, renovated 6 plants, and launched 11 new product platforms. It was in this context that in 2013, they tested FastWorks for the first time, through the development of a new refrigerator model for the Monogram product line. In January 2015, the development team was given a bold challenge: redesign everything the customer sees, do it with a small team and a small budget, deliver a working prototype in 3 months, and launch the product within a year. A high-stakes ask, but also a clear example of the principles of agility: small teams, fast cycles, and early delivery. Instead of relying on marketing and salespeople to define specifications, GE involved end users directly from the start. The team showed their first prototype, a minimum viable product, within a month. The feedback was clear and blunt. Customers didn't like the steel finishing. The lining felt wrong, so that the team changed it. They iterated, tested again and again. By August, they had reached version 5. Users liked this one. In January 2014, they built 75 units of a version 6 and brought it directly to the market. And it didn't stop here. Version 8 followed, then version 10. Each cycle added new improvements. Instead of a 5-year product revision cycle, once the standard at GE, they were now iterating every few months. FastWorks had changed the rhythm of innovation. At the core of FastWorks lies a 6-step iterative loop. It starts with identifying the customer need, an exploration phase to discover and define the problem worth solving. Then comes proposing a potential solution. This isn't the final answer, but an hypothesis. This leads to the third step, articulating leap of faith assumptions. These are key technical and commercial hypotheses that need to be tested. To do that, the team develops a minimum viable product, not to launch, but to learn. This 5th step is all about measurement, defining and tracking learning metrics, observing customer behaviors and feedbacks. Finally comes the decision to pivot, persevere, or stop. If the assumptions are validated, the team moves forward. If not, they pivot or drop the project altogether. In every cycle, the end user remains central. But to make FastWorks work, General Electric had to change more than just the development processes. The transformation extended to suppliers, finance, and leadership. In the refrigerator project, suppliers were brought into the process from the very beginning. Instead of waiting for final specifications, they were invited to the factory in January 2015 to understand the goals of the project. Their early involvement created flexibility and trust, crucial for a model that demands rapid iterations. Finance had to adapt to. Traditional return on investment models based on 1 or 2 year payback periods didn't fit the FastWorks approach. As David Schofield from the Refrigeration team explained, it was hard to assign value to rapid learning, but it was also essential. A finance representative joined the development team, helping challenge conventional metrics and enabling a faster pace. This was a radical departure from the old logic, where speed was rarely weighted in financial decision-making. With FastWorks, learning became a core asset. Leadership also played a pivotal role. Decision-making was pushed downward. Teams were given autonomy. Managers focused on supporting, not directing. In some cases, leaders had to shield the teams from organizational resistance. At one point, external departments were pushing back against the new pace. The General Electric CEO joined a meeting to break down barriers. It was a clear signal. FastWorks wasn't a side experiment. It was a strategic priority. The results were remarkable. Half the program cost, twice the speed, more than double the normal sales rate. But perhaps more impressive was the cultural impact. Engineers who had never spoken directly with customers were now listening to feedback in real time. Designers and finance officers sat in the same room. The walls between departments began to dissolve. FastWorks wasn't just a new methodology, it was a new way of working. Encouraged by the success at General Electric Appliances, the company expanded FastWorks to other units. RISE trained 80 internal coaches, who then introduced the approach to nearly 1,000 GE executives. Projects multiplied, from gas turbines to healthcare solutions to non-manufacturing areas like HR and procurement. FastWorks became a company-wide movement. In many ways, GE became one of the world's largest laboratories for lean startup principles. This case shows that agile methods, when combined with a strong culture of experimentation and feedback, can scale beyond software. Obviously, keeping some of the constraints brought by traditional project management when you work on physical products. GE didn't copy a startup, they borrowed the mindset. The FastWorks loops resemble the agile sprint, but they are tailored for hardware and complex industrial systems. The roles are different, the decisions more cross-functional, the pace adjusted, but the logic is the same: build, measure, learn. From a project management perspective, FastWorks is a clear example of hybridization. It doesn't eliminate planning or budget control, but it repositions them. It doesn't reject product specifications, but it treats them as hypotheses. It shifts the focus from the output to outcome, from internal processes to customer validation. It transforms the way uncertainty is handled, not as a threat to control, but as a resource for learning. The real innovation, however, is cultural. FastWorks empowers teams to make decisions, finance to invest in speed, and leadership to support iterations. It reduces the distance between the people who build and the people who use. It creates feedback loops where none existed. It reminds large organizations that agility is not about size, it is about mindset. General Electric is not a startup, but with FastWorks, it found a way to act like one without giving up its scale. It discovered that agility isn't about moving fast alone. It's about moving fast with purpose, with feedback, and with customers always at the center.